Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20 and welcome to episode 90 of Direwolf20's Let's Play series. We are 10 away from 100. Holy cow, I can't believe that it's already episode 90. I'm really impressed with how far this series has come. There's a lot of cool stuff in this world. I am not too upset about the progress I've made so far as of episode 90. Already destroyed the end, let those Endermen know what's up, and got all kinds of cool gadgets and toys, and even came up with some really new and interesting designs. I'm heading off to my mob spawner age. What is going on here? Oh boy. All kinds of cool stuff. As you can see, upon arriving in the age, the lights turn on, the world resets, all the computer stuff happens. I'm really pleased with the way this whole thing, this build worked out in the end. And like I said, it's pretty easy to expand. One thing I'm doing, by the way, of course, is cleaning up what I left here. So let's see, I should have in my bag a wand to mess with. Let's see, wand. I'm, of course, setting up, white ender chests so that any items that I need to bring my way can. So, there's my guy with glasses. How you doing, buddy? Thank you. We can now clear this up. All the junk that was here goes into my inventory, and I'm just going to sort it immediately. Thank you very much. So now, all the cool stuff that my golem collects for me will automatically get sorted. And you can see my mining system is currently enabled, which is why we just got a ton of stuff showing up there briefly. No big deal. I'll even put this chest in there. Cool? Excellent. Alright, let's put our golem back right there. We can now cover these walls back up and go back to looking awesome. Nice job, little golem. I love it. Alright, so that was one of the things that I kind of left as my to-do list from last episode. There's a couple of little minor touches I might want to put on this little contraption that I've got, and then we're going to kind of, wrap up this build and then start working on a new one. That's right, we've got more cool stuff to check out, guys. There's plenty of toys to make and cool things to have. I'll definitely be messing with this as much as I can, and maybe even expand it at some point in the future. I don't know when exactly, but, we might go ahead and put some other cool things in there. Maybe a couple different, ender pearl, or the soul shards and whatnot. We'll see. Plenty of cool stuff to do. So, put this guy back here. How are you? There you go. You stay right there. Thank you, my little friend. And let's seal the walls back up. I just like things to look nice and neat, right? Especially if I'm about to release a world download. That's right, episode 90. At the end of this episode, I'll be, backing up my world, making sure to get it uploaded for you guys. Look at this awesome stuff. I borrowed the thing here, didn't I? Yeah, this MFE, I never did make the, I made it, but I never hooked it up. No big deal. I can go hook it up at some point. So we've got the mob spawner. Let's see if there's any other finishing touches I want to put on here. But I think we do have pretty much a finalized build. Like I said, the only other thing I could do is put some more soul shards in there and get a couple different mob types. I mean, I do have my vial sword on there. It has the fire aspect, so it would be annoying to collect enders, guys, with that one. But I'm sure I could come up with something a little bit better. Maybe make a better sword, go get the ender one. I don't know, we'll see. But for now, I'll be right back. Yeah, guys, I don't know. I'll look for some feedback on this episode, and if you want me to add anything to the system, feel free to let me know. But I think for the most part, we are pretty much finalized here. Got the golems thing working. Just got to right-click it and not miss. Yeah, look at that. Perfect. Everything works pretty well. So I'm ready to zip this world up and make sure you guys get a copy of it. But for now, let's head back to the overworld and see what kind of trouble we can get into out here. Oh boy, nighttime. Alright, guys. Looks like it's getting dark again. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm kind of getting tired of all the, it's dark, I'm going to sleep through the night. I'm getting a little bit of a nuisance with that. So I would kind of like, let's see, what do we got here? Yeah, look, monsters can spawn anywhere. They can spawn right outside my house. I'm episode 90 at this point, and I haven't even lit up the area in which I live in. But I'll be honest with you guys, there's a couple things that annoy me about lighting things up. Number one, if I want to light up a big area, it's like 1,000 torches, right? And I just think that looks, I don't know, not so hot, right? Like, I've got a torch here, obviously, and it's just sitting there, and it looks all right by itself. But when you have to put torches all over the place, and you have to, do this stuff just to light up so much area, it really just starts to look, I don't know. I don't like the way it looks. It's just me personally. I mean, there's not many other options though, right? Well, maybe there is. Maybe there is. There's another thing I don't like also. Oh yeah, I don't want to just do that. There's another thing I don't like. Honestly, I think it would be kind of cool if we could, like, detect when it's dark out and maybe turn lights on and off. That would be a neat thing. But I also don't want them to be all over the place and in my way. Like, frankly, if I have, some kind of normal lighting system, it's going to just kind of either be like right there, so there's going to be just lights all over the place, and it's going to kind of be in the way. I've seen a few people's designs, and they all look really good, believe me, but I'm not good at making things look nice. You know me. I'm just good at making things functional. So let's see if I can combine my traits of making things functional with my desire for an on-off switch and not a million torches or some kind of lights all over the base. Alright, let's see what kind of trouble we can come up with. Alright, so I'm playing with my applied energistics system, and I want to teach it how to make wrath torches. Cool, so we've got the wrath igniter right there, and then I also want to teach it how to, and I'm going to go ahead and make one real quick for myself, just so I can get the items needed for a wrath lamp. So I totally want a really cool wrath lamp. So let's see, I'm going to need some glass panes, right, some of you, and I'm going to need some silver and dark iron ingot. Okay, no problem. No problem at all. Silver. Now, dark iron, there's no crafting recipe for. I could probably come up with a way to automate the creation of dark iron, and if you guys really want to see it, if you want to like challenge me to come up with that, I think I could probably manage. But for now, let's just go ahead and set up the recipe here. I know we need these guys like this, and were the panes on the side? Yeah, they are. Okay, not a problem. So the silver can go top and bottom, and the panes like that. Excellent. So, short of not being able to supply dark iron to this thing, I should be able to now craft some wrath lamps. And I'm going to get a couple of them. So let's see. Let's try crafting, I don't know, 3. Go. And you, go in there. Please, craft. Missing, glass panes. Ha, nice. Alright. Oh, good, it did make it. Excellent. I'm very happy with that. I wasn't sure. I know in the newer version of Applied Energistics it doesn't have problems with damage value, and I didn't think it would have a problem with this one. So, alright. Now you, Mr. Turtle, your label is set to worker. You're coming with me. Now I'm not... Well, I'm going to kind of, yeah. Alright, I'm going to have to show you guys. But let's go ahead and set this up. Now, here's the cool thing about wrath lamps, alright? They project a nice wide lighting area about 30 blocks down. So if I tell this turtle to go 25 blocks up into the air, like about up here, okay? And then I place the wrath lamp, let's say, underneath it. Dun 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 dun. We've got light. Let there be light. So you can see that this huge area is lit up. Note, by the way, all right, and here's a good way to demonstrate the coolness of this thing. I'm going to grab you. And just a piece of sand, please. Just one. What could he possibly be using sand for? This makes this easier. All right, so what kind of radius do we have on this? Let's see. How's it going, bad dude? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 blocks away from the bottom of that thing gets me to the point where mobs won't spawn. So if I had this thing and then another 10 blocks, right, we could go over that way. So if I had like every 20 blocks a wrath lamp, I could really light up a decent area. Look at that. Now, if I wanted to, I could go ahead and break this guy. Come here, you. They do take a moment to break, especially when flying. And dun 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 dun, lights go out after a few seconds. Several few seconds. Don't worry, it will update. Oh, there it goes. Yep. So it just takes a few seconds for it to realize the block is gone, but the light does go out. So that's like an ideal way to light up an area, I think. It's completely, unobtrusive. Really, if you're, looking at the way it's done, you're, you barely even notice it unless you go up there looking for the lights. Now, it is a 30 block, down. So if we go 25 blocks up, that's a good number, right? It's pretty high up in the sky, but it's still accessible and all that good stuff. Now, let's go ahead and set up the following. I'm going to get myself, all right, don't have any of those and don't have any of those. How about some of these? Oh, yeah, I've got some of them. Perfect. I'll be right back. So there we go. A few moments of crafting later, and I've got myself a block breaker and a deployer. So what I'd like to do is set up a nice and fancy block breaker deployer system up here. So such that I can do the following. You ready? Let's go ahead and place this right about, I don't know, here. And I'm going to need my screwdriver. Screwdriver is somewhere. There it is. I already had it in my inventory. Thing's going to need to be recharged in a minute. Alright, so you, my good friend the turtle, only serve to not have to create a big, long, and tall thing. And this is going to be a little hard to demonstrate here, so let's go ahead and wait for the night. But basically, this guy will deploy down, like so. And then we'll have our block breaker facing it. And then it'll eat up the block and send it up this way back into there. Ta-da! So that's the plan, right? So I've got to get a couple buttons here just to demonstrate really well. Let's give ourselves a moment, and I'll be right back. All right, good. It does look like it's starting to get dark out again. How are we doing? Oh, yeah, there we are. We're nice. All right, F7 this guy so we can kind of see the lines on the ground. So let's go ahead and demonstrate and see if the deployer block breaker combination works for us. Let's go ahead and do it. Deployer, go. Yeah, pro tip. Place wrath lamp in deployer before pressing button. Go. Beautiful. And if we come down here, we'll see that, boom, it lights up. Real nice looking effect, by the way, when it lights up. It like kind of slowly lights up. Now, what did I want to grab? I wanted to grab that piece of sand again, just to demonstrate to you guys how this is going to work. So let's go ahead and place this here. Cool. So I've got the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What is this all about? 1, 2, 3, 4. Why am I only getting 4 here? I'll tell you why I'm only getting 4 here. And this is a little depressing for this build, so I'm probably not going to be able to use block breakers deployers. I kind of figured this out. Because this block breaker's here, it's causing this guy to fall a little bit short. Okay, so it's stopping the light there instead of if this thing was not in my way. Notice how much more light I'm getting. Yeah, and that's what we want, ideally, right? Like, we want a decent amount of light to, really make this nice and safe and bright area here. So we're not going to be able to do the deployer and breaker combo. Basically, what we're going to need in order to make this automated and only come out at night, which frankly is completely optional, right? Like, you don't need to do that. It's just for fun and making the build interesting. But, if we want to do this, sorry guys, we're going to have to use a item which can both break and deploy an item. And there's only one that I can think of. That's right, it's time to use a turtle. Now, I'm only going to be doing this with the most basic of functions. We're going to be breaking an item, and then we're going to be placing an item. Okay, so the coding will not be in depth. It will not be too complicated, but in the end, we'll have a really cool system that can automate the turning on and off of lights. Sound like a plan? I thought you might like it. Alright, so let's do this. Now, there's a couple ways, of course, to handle the turning on and off of lights. I was going to use wireless redstone up there, but if we're doing it with... Whoa, that's a lot of zombies. How's it going, guys? I need some more weapons. So, yeah, how about we just sleep through this scary and dark night? So what I'm thinking is we might be able to do it with wireless redstone to get up there and turn on and off lights. But if we're going to do it with turtles, we might as well use wireless modems and do RedNet. I think that sounds like a pretty solid plan. We'll have to see, though. So let's see, we're going to need a couple things. We're going to need turtles that can break things. So we can't just use a normal turtle. My worker turtle is going to have to hang out and do something else. Putting away some other items and junk in my inventory. Give me a minute, and I'll be right back. Alright guys, so I'm of course going to need 2 diamonds, and the other item I'd like to use, because I don't really want to use a lot of coding and a lot of RedNet, but I also want to make this build as compact and cool as possible, so I'm going to use the Rether module. The Rether module is an item from MISC Peripherals that can be placed on the side of turtles that can, you ready for this, detect wireless frequencies. So, let's take a look. I've got a couple plans here. What I want to do is basically set it up so that I can use wireless redstone frequencies to detect when to turn on and off the lights. And by turning on and off the lights, I mean turtle.digdown and turtle.placedown. And it'll place down the wrath lamps if it needs to be turned on, and it'll break the wrath lamp and bring it back into its inventory as needed if it doesn't. So let's go ahead and do this. What I need is some of these guys, receiver dish and wireless transceiver. Alright, so let's search for receive. That might bring me what I need. Yeah, it does. So let's get, I don't know. For now, I'm just going to do 2. Alright, so 1, 2. Come on now. Don't have a freak out on me. You can do it. There we go. And 2 of you as well. 1, 2. Perfect. Grab you guys. Yeah, you can stay there. I need you. And then finally, I need some obsidian sticks, so let's get 2 of these. Perfect. So these 3 items placed together in a crafting table, I'm pretty sure it's a shapeless recipe. Yeah, shapeless. Gets you the Rether module. And then what we want to do is take 2 of our random turtles here. We're going to turn them into mining turtles. And then we're going to turn them into mining Rether turtles. Okay? And this will allow them to, number 1, break the wrath lamps, and number 2, respond to wireless redstone signals. So let's see how this works. You ready? Okay, let's take a look. Alright, so I've got a little setup here to demonstrate for you guys the way this is going to happen. Let's call this frequency 60, and we're going to name it lights. Set, boom, good. Alright, so real simple, wrap the peripheral on the right, and do m.setFrequency. And we're going to set the frequency to monitor to be 60. True means it worked, okay? m.get. That function tells you the current state of the redstone frequency that has. So right now you can see it's false. That's because frequency 60 doesn't have any lighting on. Boom, turn this on. Now if we run m.get, it returns true. So it's real easy to detect whether or not there's a redstone signal coming into this turtle. Now if I wanted to, I could simply put wireless receivers on the side of the turtles and make them detect a redstone signal coming in, but I thought this was just a little bit easier. It's all in one block, and it makes it a lot simpler. So that's the basic plan. This should actually be almost easier than I thought. So let's get ourselves right here. We're going to go ahead and set this to frequency 60 just to be ready. Lights, excellent. So it's still light out, so let's go outside here. I guess we'll put our worker out there. All right, so let's put like right outside our base here will be our first turtle, and we're going to center it on our walkway here. So that way we have the widest area of space available to make sure that this area stays pretty well lit. So let's go ahead and go up 25. Cool. Now, only reason I'm doing that is so that I can go ahead and get this guy up here. Okay. Means I don't have to build a big tower of cobblestone. Just place-to-place blocks. Cool. Alright, so we'll place this guy here, and he's ready to go. Now, let's write a very simple program that's going to know what to do in the case of redstone signals happening. Alright, super simple program. Get the peripheral on the right, set the frequency to 60, and loop through infinitely the following instructions, okay? If the frequency is on, then place down whatever's in the current inventory, and that's going to be the wrath lamp, okay? Otherwise, dig down, which means break the thing below. Now we're going to go ahead and sleep for 10 seconds at the end of every cycle. And what this will do is make sure that every 10 seconds it checks for a redstone signal. If it's on, it's going to try and place the lamp down. And if the lamp's already down, it's just going to try and place it down. It's going to fail, and it's going to wait 10 more seconds and try again. And it's going to keep placing the lamp down even though it's already there. And then when the frequency is off, it'll break the lamp and put it back in its inventory and keep trying to break down, which again, of course, will fail because it won't have anything there. All right, so let's go ahead and run this guy. I named the program startup, which means when I reboot the turtle, boom, we've got a running program. Cool, and you can see it's just sitting there. All right, now if we go ahead and put this guy like so, we should see that break within the next, oh, there we go, 10 seconds. All right, so every 10 seconds it's checking again to see what the state of the signal is, okay? And it'll, as soon as it checks, decide to break the block. So every 10 seconds it's going to cycle through and, decide to break whatever's below it because it's not receiving a redstone signal at this point, okay? So let's go ahead and set the lights on command, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and pull the cobblestone out and hold the lights button, okay? So as long as this is on and enabled, it's going to go ahead and place whatever's in its inventory below it at that point, okay? Now, as long as I keep it held, it's going to keep trying to do the place down, and because there's nothing to place, or because there's a block there already, either way, it's going to fail. No big deal. As soon as the redstone signal goes away, within about 10 seconds, it should decide to break. 10 seconds, of course, being the longest. You could see it could happen within 1 second, or it could happen within 10 seconds. But you can see right there, it worked exactly the way we wanted it to. Excellent, right? So real simple. Definitely could have done it, with, deployers or block breakers, and you can see here. So we're already getting the lights. That's so cool. Definitely could have worked with deployers and block breakers, but it would have been in the way. So we really needed to do it with turtles. I think it's awesome, though. So let's go ahead and set up a few more of these guys around the world. So again, hold right click and eventually it'll decide to place a wrath lamp below it. And you can see it's getting dark out, so this should look pretty cool in a moment here. Hey, there we go. Lights. Beautiful, right? All right, now release the right click and it'll eventually decide to break the wrath lamp. And it'll get dark down here. How cool is that? I love it. And it's a simple program. There we go. I think it just broke it. Yeah, it's gone. And then we can see the lights disappear. Again, it takes a few seconds just because, just like my turtle, I'm sure Neptune Pink says, don't check every, tick to decide if you need to show light everywhere. Give me a few second delay. All right, let me go ahead and set up a few more of these around the town. All right, so just because I have a turtle ready for me, I know I need to go 20 blocks in this direction. Let's just do this, okay? Turn right and go forward 20. Okay. And I'll grab the wrath lamp here, and I think what I'm actually going to do is go ahead and, what was that thing? Let's set this guy to 60. Set. And we'll activate it with the lever. This way, we can just make sure that we are in the right position, because as soon as we activate it with the lever, we should start seeing some light filter down here. All right, again, within 10 seconds. Beautiful. Now, if I come over here, the real trick is to make sure that this thing's in the right spot by placing the wrath lamp like so. And if we come down here, we should see light. Awesome. Look at that. That is perfect. All right, so we do have the ability for mobs to spawn like right here and, a little bit close to the area, but we're going to do our best to make sure it's nice and, tidy and clean. Maybe we'll kind of alternate it like a checkerboard kind of pattern. So we'll go up to like the center of these two and move forward 10 and place a wrath lamp here. Oh, that might be a really good idea. Let's do that. Turn right, go forward 10. Turn right, go forward 10. So again, and this probably isn't perfect. Like I know I was one block to the right, so I probably should have issued the command to go forward 19 instead of 20, but I'm not too worried about perfection at this point. I just want proof of concept. So see how that checkerboard pattern works out really nicely, and we've got a pretty safe area if you really think about it. Like, look how nice this looks, right? And of course, I'll be able to turn on and off the lights in this whole area using the turtles. So I need to get myself a few more turtles, obviously, a few more Rether chips and all that good stuff, but I'll be back in just a few minutes and we'll see some coolness happening. All right, so obviously made a few more turtles here. Oh, wow, that was quick. Rether turtles, nice. 9 of them. Great. So let's go outside and proof of concept this for the last time. All right, I just want to really make sure I'm in like the right positioning here. This just feels like one block to the left for me, and I want to make sure. So let's see. This is 244. This is 255. So it's 11 blocks in that direction, right? So this is 255. We actually want this to be one block closer. This should be 235, so we should do something like this. Come on now. By the way, guys, there's the paste bin code that you'll need if you want to get this program. But when you get my world download at level 90, it'll also be there for you. All right, so paste bin get that thing at startup and then reboot the computer. And what we should find as soon as we reboot this guy is it's going to go ahead and break the light. Okay, so if we take a look here, we should see everybody's behaving, everybody's living in the right spot. You should also... Why are you guys breaking those so easily? That's a creeper. Yeah, they should actually not be breaking them. Alright, so here we go. Alright, so the turtles are doing exactly what they should be. As I'm holding the frequency here, it's going ahead and it's lighting up the area for me. And if I let go of the frequency, now because the world didn't load all at the same time, these guys are not going to break at the exact same time. So you can see those two broke, and then this one's going to go ahead and break a few seconds later. Not a big deal. Next time the server resets, they'll all be in sync because they will have started up at the same time. So you can see here the lighting system works. Okay, and within a few seconds, as usual, we should see all the lights go out. Cool. Like I said, these lights could be left on during the day, but I'm just trying to make a cool and fun and interesting build for you guys. So how are we going to detect when lights need to go on and off? That's a really good question, and I'm glad you guys asked because I'm about to show you. All right, we'll be right back. For this, guys, we're going to need something very simple. It's just a component from Red Power. It's a relatively new addition to the mod. It came out a couple versions back. It is the light sensor. Really, really simple device, okay? Let's go to a place where it's not that bright out, okay? So like right here-ish, I think, should be good. So here's the deal with the daylight sensor. Now, obviously, I'm not going to place it somewhere where the, turtles are going to be. But let's demonstrate this, because I actually did just have to restart the server for some reason. So hopefully, we should see all the lights get placed in a moment here. There we go. Lights incoming. Beautiful. Look at that. So by turning on the lever, we lit up the entire area. Nice. And this is a huge area being well lit with only 3 wrath lamps. Perfect. And the checkerboard pattern is probably a good way to go. So I think I'll replicate that a little bit. At least cover a good section of the area that I've already built in. And I'll probably do some of that off camera, get it for you guys done before the wrapping up point of this episode, I'll do it off camera at least between the end of this episode and when I create the world download for you. So the light sensor, really not too hard to mess with. Go ahead and place it down and it'll detect and emit a redstone signal. Let's grab some red alloy wire. There we go. And let's see what happens here. So you can see it's currently emitting a redstone signal. That's because it's detecting enough light to consider it, bright out. Okay. Now, if you want, you can take your screwdriver, which I've got right here, if I'm not too busy getting shot by skeletons. How's it going, buddy? That's right. Go ahead and right-click this thing. I think it's shift right-click maybe, and you'll see it's closing the gap here. So with that, it means it's, right now it's not bright enough for it to be emitting, but now it is. So it's a good way to adjust, how much light is considered enough. So like right now, the light level is high enough. It's not completely pitch black. I think if we had a block above and maybe on all sides, but it's not completely pitch black. It's not just above either. It's kind of all sides. As long as there's light hitting the block is what it looks for. So we shrink it down a little bit and we're like, hey, we need a decent amount of light here to emit a redstone signal. And then it's really easy from here. Now obviously this isn't going to be the final resting point of the block, but we simply just say like, hey, if you've got light, go ahead and emit a redstone signal. Now I think the way I wrote my turtle program is that if you're getting a redstone signal, then turn on the light. So this guy we actually want to be the opposite, right? So if you're not getting a redstone signal, then turn on the light. So I'll probably just throw a NOT gate on here. So I think I even have some NOT gates. There we go. Cool, right? So we do this, we do this. Oh, see, it's already doing it, right? So right now, we'll set this guy to frequency 60, and it won't deploy those. But as soon as it's nighttime, this redstone signal will go off, turning this one on, causing frequency 60 to go on, and we're good to go. So let's go find a nice spot where we're not going to have some of this light lit up. I'm thinking we could probably throw it back here, maybe as far back as behind this area here. Let's just go ahead and set it up here in the trees. This looks good, right? So this will be my light sensor area, okay? Real simple build, like I said. We put the light sensor, I guess we actually probably want this to go like this. There we go. Followed by a NOT gate, followed by frequency 60. Set. Boom, and we're good to go. Now, as soon as it gets to be nighttime out here, that should change, right? So let's actually close the shutter a little bit so that, we really only want like maximum light level. We want it to be full-blown day before you're emitting a redstone signal. So let's close this shutter as much as we can. That's 3 clicks. That's as much as we can close it. And just for the demonstration purposes, I'm going to switch into cheat mode and make it dusk, okay? Because I don't feel like waiting a whole long time. So what we should see here is momentarily, and I'm going to go over back by my base to demonstrate. momentarily, we should see it getting dark enough out to cause that redstone signal to flip on. And once that happens, it should deploy the lamps, and we should have a pretty well lit area. Boom! Hey, look at that. Perfect. All the lamps got deployed, and now we have brightness down here. How awesome. I'm pretty happy with this build. I like it when things work and are easy. Beautiful. Okay, then of course, as it becomes daytime, so we'll make it dawn. Okay, so the sun will start to come up, and then we'll start to get enough light to stop emitting the redstone signal. And this guy, you can see they just removed all the torches because it was bright enough for everything to do what we wanted it to do. Perfect. All right, I'll be right back. And with that, guys, I feel like we are ready to wrap up episode 9. So like I said, I will go ahead and use my worker turtle and my Rether mining turtles that I just made. I'll probably need a few more. I'm going to do my best to make sure this entire area is well lit, at least a good chunk of it, so that when I walk outside my base at night, it will be bright out. But when I, come outside in the daytime, not a chance. That's right, there won't be anything deployed. Real simple builds, obviously. Now, if I wanted to, I could go ahead and name these turtles. I did not label them. Probably should, but I might not bother. I mean, it's a real simple program I put on there, and worst case is I don't think they'll ever get broken. They shouldn't, at least. So for now, Direwolf20 signing off on, holy cow, is it really episode 90 already? That's right. Gonna go ahead and make a good backup of the world, get it uploaded for you guys so you can download it, play around. Hope you enjoyed the last 10 episodes. We got some cool stuff going on with mob spawners and automatic lighting and all kinds of coolness. We got a pretty nice world set up here. And of course, don't forget my one of my favorite builds of this season so far was this little guy, the villager sorting system. Wow, that was cool and a lot of fun to make. So again, hope you guys enjoyed the last 10 episodes. There is more to come. We've got some more fun builds planned in the future, and we will see what we come up with. So for now, hope you guys enjoyed this season so far. Take it easy.